can rehabilitate it.
Convicted sex offenders trying to prove they can live a normal life after getting out of jail. But not everybody's buying it.
In my own opinion, I think he's trying to find his next victim.
Can sex offenders really be cured? Can the law do more to protect children?
Until the legislators change the law, yeah, we're trapped. We have to abide and go by what the rules are, just like everybody else.
We showed you Chris Parker's story earlier in the newscast of a convicted sex offender who claims he is rehabilitated, but some parents disagree.
And so right now we continue our coverage on this very important, very controversial topic. Is enough being done to make sure those convicted of sex crimes don't hurt anybody else again?
Joining us once again, Fox 2's Taryn Asher. And Taryn, some really serious questions to delve into tonight.
Oh, absolutely. Many people don't realize that Michigan has the third highest population for sex offenders in the nation. And only a quarter of them are behind bars right now. So what happens with the rest? Joining us tonight, Michigan State Police Trooper Craig Tuber, who is the regional coordinator for the Michigan Sex Offender Registry, and Cheryl Carpenter, an attorney who works to defend the rights of sex offenders. Starting with you, Cheryl, sex offenders not all created equally, but they are all treated the same when it comes to enforcement. Someone who, let's say, goes to the bathroom in public is treated the same as a violent offender who sexually assaults several children. Is that fair, and does there need to be more separation?
Definitely. There needs to be more separation. We need to reform our sex offender registry in Michigan. We should not have 44,000 people on the registry. I have many clients who are on the registry for teenage consensual sexual relations, for juveniles who had juvenile experimentation, for a slap on the butt, and these are not dangerous predators or pedophiles or people who are likely to reoffend. And when we lump them all together and we classify them all the same, we make the registry useless.
Craig, you are the coordinator for this registry locally. What are your feelings?
Well, one of the myths that we contend with is the fact that a lot of people do believe that Romeo and Juliet situation is really what the registry is comprised of. Truthfully, there's less than 3% of the offenders on the registry for a situation that could be considered, a Romeo and Juliet situation. Now, if you remove those who plea bargained the charge down, or those who actually legitimately, committed a rape that brought up that particular charge, that number is even smaller. Another myth that's out there is people being on there for urinating in public. It actually takes 3 convictions of indecent exposure before you're on the registry. So, very small numbers. There's only 78 people on the registry for that one.
Okay. Now, I want to hear from both of you on this one. This is a long-running debate that we've been hearing about for years, but we want to know from you, do you believe that sex offenders, especially those who exhibit predatory behavior, can they be rehabilitated? Because, as we saw in Christopher Parker's case, many are worried he will strike again. Cheryl?
Yes, I do believe they can be rehabilitated, and there are studies to prove that. If at the very beginning, when these juveniles and adults are caught, if we give them treatment, study shows for juveniles with successful rehabilitation, the rate of reoffending or recidivism is only 5%. And the Department of Justice in 2007, they said the rate of recidivism by sex offenders when released from prison is only 3.5%.
Now, is that the same thing that you're seeing, Craig?
Well, I guess it would be irresponsible for me to, suggest that, I was trained or had the knowledge that could somebody be rehabilitated. What I can say is that there are offenders that I have investigated who are on the sex offender registry who do reoffend. We base that on the violation of the registry, and looking into them further, we're finding child pornography, we're finding other victims that are actually out there.
Right, and of course we're seeing that in the case with Christopher Parker as well. He has been convicted 3 times and then suspected of other crimes as well. Right now we have a situation where sex offenders have to be compliant with that registry. If not, they will be charged with a misdemeanor or a felony. But they could also be out there committing crimes unless they're caught in the act, as we showed you, or a victim. They need to come forward. If not, nothing can be done to stop them. Isn't that correct?
That is correct. That's one of the things. We do need a victim or some direct evidence. We need to have probable cause to prove that the case exists, to take it to that next step through prosecution.
And Cheryl, what are your feelings on this? Do you think that the laws are being enforced enough, or do you think it's a free-for-all for some of the most severe offenders when it comes to this predatory behavior?
I think we're looking at it the wrong way. We are looking at it, what do we do with them after they're done with probation and parole? How do we restrict their freedoms? Let's focus on when they're in court and when they can get treatment. The story we just saw, this young man was 11 years old and got 1 year probation. What kind of mental health treatment did he get? If the studies show that 5% of reoffend after successful rehabilitation, did he get that? We don't have risk assessments in Michigan. They're not mandatory for sexual offenses.
Because right now, and let me interrupt real quick, right now, if they complete their sentence, they're not on parole and they're not on probation. The only restrictions they have is they cannot be in a school zone. Isn't that right? Doesn't that mean that they can just be around children and then possibly strike again?
They could be, but if we treat the problem, we won't have these issues coming up. We're not doing enough to treat the sexual offenders. We need specific base treatment for the sexual offenders. We need risk assessment so judges know how to treat them. We need a tiered system in the registry in Michigan so we know how dangerous somebody is.
Okay. And Craig, final thoughts on that?
Well, and I know that the legislators are in fact working with law enforcement, Department of Corrections, and just a lot of people in the public sector to determine the course of where these laws are going to go. And I know that there is change coming.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll have to wait and see. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining us, Attorney Cheryl Carpenter and Trooper Craig Tour.
Thank you.
And of course, everyone needs to be proactive. As you heard, really the only defense that people, parents, the public have right now is the sex offender registry. They're able to look and see where these sex offenders are. Of course, we said they're not all created equally, but and also they can submit tips anonymously if they want to, if they see some suspicious behavior, some possible victims out there.
Yeah. It's an issue everybody has to get involved with. We want you to tell us what you think. Sound off. MyFoxDetroit.com. Let us know what you think. And to all of those people who are running for office here in the state of Michigan, how many times have we heard tonight, the law doesn't do this, the law doesn't do that, it may not protect us, it may hurt innocent people. This could be an issue too. We have a lot of big issues in this state,
maybe
but that
some
could be
things
one
need
too.
to change. Absolutely.
The law would have to change.
All right, eye-opening report. Thanks very much, Terry.
Yes, thank you.